Hello, welcome to Purchasing 101, and thank you for your interest in Brown County purchasing. This is Barbara West. I am the risk manager and will be your presenter. As consumers, the concept of purchasing is not foreign to any of you. In this course, you will learn that you and the county may share many of the same purchasing goals. You will learn about the benefits of creating and approving purchase orders. Purchase order creation is a requirement for purchases greater than $1,000 not being paid by a purchasing card. The importance of each person's role in this process, whether within your department or purchasing staff within administration, will be explained. You will learn how working together makes the entire process move smoothly and provides an audit trail. Public purchasing must follow state statutes, county ordinances, and administrative policies. You will learn where these documents are located on the intranet and the importance of understanding them. All county purchasing transactions must be transparent. That means they must be easily understood. If a vendor can provide the good or service that meets the specifications, they have an equal opportunity to be awarded the contract. The purchasing process is open and fair. This helps to build vendor confidence in the process. Administration created standard purchasing processes such as requests for bids, requests for quotes, and requests for proposals. These are the most common. Each of these processes will be explained in more depth in a separate training course. These processes improve effectiveness and efficiencies. Each process follows state laws and county ordinances and are reflected in the administrative policies. Just as you and your family have a budget, so do each of the county departments. Making the best buying decisions to safeguard these funds is a key objective. From your experience as a consumer, you know that getting more than one quote provides you with a little more negotiating power. Competition drives down cost. The more you purchase, the lower the cost per item. If you are a Costco or Sam's Club member, you are familiar with this concept. The county benefits from the economy of scale by combining services needed by more than one department or more than one municipality into one purchasing solicitation, such as courier services, lawn maintenance, and cell phone service. As I mentioned earlier, administration follows the Public Works State Statute, county ordinances such as the Purchasing Ordinance, and administrative policies. A5, Purchasing, is the administrative policies all departments must comply with. The links to the county ordinances and administrative policies can be found on the intranet page, main page under Quick Links. The logos, system information, and procedures are also accessible under the Quick Links section. A5 is the administrative policy that addresses purchasing requirements. Just as you are responsible for your personal budget and budgeting decisions, the policy informs the department head that they are responsible to ensure the department has funds within their budget before starting the purchasing process. Even if the department head designates an employee within his or her department to handle the department purchases, the department head is ultimately responsible. The department head needs to ensure his or her staff are following the policy and obtaining the approvals within logos for the department purchases. The county is a tax-exempt entity. Sales taxes should not be paid on purchases. An important role of all employees is to protect the assets of the county. Securing a certificate of insurance if the county does not have a current one on file is critical if the vendor will be on site. For example, you wouldn't hire someone to roof your house without knowing they have insurance to protect their employees and to warranty the work they perform. Whose insurance do you think they will try to recover from in the event their employee falls from the roof? They will be looking to recover from your homeowner's policy. The list of current certificate of insurance can be found under Risk Management Insurance Information on the intranet. Here is an example of a certificate of insurance. The certificate provides a policy number, limits, and policy terms for each type of insurance. You will note that Brown County is named as additional insured. Sometimes Brown County is drawn into a suit that results from an error, omission, or misconduct on the part of the vendor. Defending the county in a suit can be expensive. When the county is named as additional insured, the vendor's insurer will foot the bill. Administrative Policy A5 provides an outline of when the department can facilitate a purchasing transaction and when purchasing must facilitate the purchase. Public work projects, defined as any project for the construction, repair, remodeling, or improvement of any public work, building, or furnishing of supplies or material of any kind for such work, is dictated by both state law and county ordinances. Any public work project greater than $5,000 must be facilitated by purchasing through a request for bid solicitation. The vendor with the lowest bid will be awarded the contract unless the bids came in greater than the budgeted amount. The project may need to be reissued with a reduced scope, so the resulting bid will be within the budget. If there is ever a question whether or not the project would be considered a public work project, please contact purchasing for determination. If questionable, purchasing will request a determination from the Department of Workforce Development. Making the correct determination is very important. Non-public work projects less than $5,000 can be handled at the department level. Quotes are recommended. Remember, competition helps to reduce overall costs. All quotes received should be attached to the Logos purchase order when created to provide documentation on why a specific vendor was chosen. Non-public work projects less than $10,000 can also be handled by a person authorized to purchase within the department. This time quotes are required and must be attached to the Logos purchase order. Purchasing must approve purchase orders greater than $5,000. If quotes are not attached, the purchase order will not be approved. Any non-public work project greater than $10,000 will be facilitated by purchasing either through a request for quotes, where price is the only deciding factor, or a request for proposals, where more than price will be the deciding factor for vendor selection. All projects that relate to software, computers, or electronic devices need Technology Services approval. This will ensure that all new county technology is compatible with existing systems and can be supported by TS. Items purchased without TS approval will be returned at the department's expense. There are exceptions. Occasionally, an item can only be purchased from one vendor. For example, preformed thermoplastic pavement marking approved by the FAA for the airport, or election equipment approved by the state for the county clerk. Emergency purchases are allowed to resolve an immediate threat to the health and/or safety of the public or employees. An example would be a failed boiler at either the jail or CTC. These facilities are 24/7 operations. The county has benefited from solicitations for a good or service issued by county purchasing consortiums. Remember the importance of economies of scale? The P-card program to the value group is an example. The county also benefits from another county's existing contract. The county is allowed to use the same vendor without issuing a separate solicitation if the vendor allows other government agencies to piggyback on the existing contract. Some commodities are only provided by a single vendor, such as natural gas or electricity. Neither a purchase solicitation nor a purchase order is necessary for the purchase of a commodity. From what we've discussed so far, you can see that Brown County has both a decentralized and centralized purchasing system. The department creates and approves purchase orders, receipts the good, and inputs the invoice for processing. Below is an example of a purchase order. The purchase order includes a description of the item to be purchased, the cost per item, in this case dollars, number of units, and the total cost. In this example, the county agreed to pay Baycom a set amount for completion of Milestone 1, contract execution. A purchase order is a binding contract. Purchase orders minimize the likelihood of disputes by clearly communicating to the vendor what you want to purchase, the quantity, and the price per unit, and has established a not to exceed value. Purchase orders create encumbrances. Encumbrances reduce the amount available in your budget to spend. Once the invoice is paid, an expense will replace the encumbrance. Encumbrances are very important, especially for purchase orders that will be received against over the entire year. Sometimes recurring invoices are overlooked when reviewing budget dollars still available. Purchase orders are required for purchases greater than $1,000 that are not being paid by a P-card. Compliance can be determined through reports available within Logos. The purchase order references the county's standard terms and conditions that are available on the Internet. Unless a separate contract was negotiated through a solicitation process, these terms will apply to the purchase. You will note that the county's standard terms require the vendor to include the purchase order number on all communications, and that the terms of the purchase order cannot be changed unless in writing. The county pays invoices net 30 days unless the vendor has negotiated different payment terms. In addition to purchases greater than $1,000 not being paid by a P-card, a purchase order is required for all purchases of assets that will be depreciated and for all purchasing solicitations. Purchase orders are not required for utility payments. We talked about the purchase order creation and approval process. The purchase order will be created by someone within your department. In this example, the item to be purchased is software or computer related because technology services approval is necessary. The purchase order is greater than $5,000 requiring purchasing approval. Purchasing will verify that quotes are attached before approval is given. Depending on the approval levels established within your department, more levels may exist. All levels of approval must be obtained. The controls and approvals are in the purchasing process, not the invoicing process. That is why purchase order creation is so important. Occasionally, there is a question on a purchase order. The approver at any level can return or deny approval and comment on missing information or reason for denial. In this case, by hovering over the purchasing reviewer's name, the comment to attach quotes can be seen. The receipt of goods completed by the department verifies the good or service was received. During the receipt of goods process, a shipper number will be created linking the receipt and purchase order. For most departments, invoices are entered into Logos by someone within their department. Through the shipper number, the invoice is now linked to the purchase order and receipt of goods. Centralized duties are handled by purchasing staff within administration. Purchasing solicitations, whether a request for bids, request for quotes, or request for proposals, are facilitated by purchasing with specifications provided by the department. Purchasing maintains the list of all contracts resulting from these solicitations. Purchasing approves all purchase orders greater than $5,000. In addition, purchasing staff provides Logos training for purchase order creators, approvers, and those who will be performing the receipt of goods function. Work instructions for each of these roles are created by purchasing and are available on the intranet. Purchasing creates new vendors in Logos based on W-9s provided by the vendor when the vendor has been awarded a contract. Any changes to the vendor, such as additional remit-to addresses, are made through purchasing. Purchasing handles requests for cell phones and P-cards. Just as with new acquisitions, purchasing facilitates the disposal of assets or surplus items. Open records requests relating to responses received from purchasing solicitation, prices quoted, and contracts awarded are handled by administrative staff. In summary, all purchasing transactions must be fair, open, and transparent, following state statute, county ordinances, and administrative policies. Whether you are part of the decentralized or centralized portion of the purchasing process, your role is important. Purchase orders are binding contracts and will minimize the likelihood of disputes. Purchasing facilitates all public work projects greater than $5,000 and all non-public work projects greater than $10,000. Exceptions exist when one vendor can provide a good or service. These sole source purchases are approved by risk management and the Director of Administration via a sole source request. If the health and safety of the public or employees is in jeopardy, emergency purchases are allowed. Please contact purchasing staff at the email address on the screen or call 448-4040 with any questions.